The idea that our thoughts and intentions can shape our reality has gained momentum, and many people are looking for ways to harness this power to achieve their goals and manifest their dreams. However, simply having a clear intention is not enough to bring about the changes we desire. The nature of reality is far more complex than we realize, and there are forces at work that we may not even be aware of. One such force is the quantum field, a realm of infinite possibility and potentiality that underlies all of existence. Most people are unaware that they are constantly moving in and out of this field, vibrating at a frequency of 7.8 times per second. Every time we leave the quantum field, we disappear, and when we return, we come back with new information. But if we return as the same person, we do not bring any new information back with us. To understand the true nature of reality, we must turn to the field of quantum physics, which is essentially the study of possibility. In order to explain the miracles we witness in our lives, the complex biological processes that occur within our bodies, and even the simple healing of a cut, we must understand the quantum model of reality. According to this model, everything in the physical world is made up of particles or matter, including ourselves. But there is also energy, which has a consciousness and awareness of its own. This energy is a field of information that we are an extension of, and we have access to it. However, we spend so much of our lives looking outside of ourselves for fulfillment and satisfaction, when the true source of these things lies within. We are conditioned to focus on particles and matter, rather than energy and information. It is only when we reach the end of our beliefs or face a crisis in our lives that we begin to turn inward and ask the bigger questions. If we take a moment to contemplate this idea, we can see that it would be the perfect place to hide God, within ourselves. The problem is that we are always looking for external reasons to change and regulate our emotional states. We think that things, people, and external circumstances will fulfill the emotions we are trying to change within ourselves. But the truth is that we must look within ourselves to find the answers we seek. Once we start to investigate who we truly are and demystify the process, we can begin to develop it as a skill. Albert Einstein was a prime example of this, as he spent much of his life looking inward and contemplating the nature of reality. At the age of 12, Einstein asked himself a simple question. If he rode his bicycle at the speed of light and turned on his headlight, would it go on? He thought about this question every day for 10 years, building models of understanding and trying to figure out how light and energy were related. Finally, one day, while watching a man fix a roof across the way, he had an incredible vision that allowed him to understand how light and energy were related. This vision was so abstract and dimensional that he had to go back to school to learn the mathematics to explain it. With the help of his first wife, who was also a scientist, Einstein was able to narrow down his theory to the simple equation which shows the relationship between energy and matter. Einstein's theories and discoveries have completely transformed our understanding of the universe and its workings. One of the most significant contributions that Einstein made to science was his work on relativity. When Einstein published his papers on relativity, he didn't cite other scientists' work or reference other publications. He simply presented his findings to the scientific community, asserting, "Ladies and gentlemen, this is how it is." This approach rocked the scientific community, as it was not customary to present ideas without acknowledging the contributions of others. Einstein's discovery was unique and groundbreaking, and his brain was wired for the understanding of light. Light was the ceiling of this reality, and Einstein and Planck began conducting experiments to study its behavior. They wanted to determine if electrons, the subatomic particles, behaved similarly to larger bodies, like apples falling from trees. The idea was that if they disturbed electrons in a certain way, they should fall predictably towards the nucleus. However, when they began to disturb the electrons, something unexpected happened. The electrons gained and lost energy unpredictably in a manner that defied the laws of classical physics. Instead of falling predictably like a ball rolling down a hill, the electrons behaved more like a ball rolling down steps. This realization was a game changer, as it meant that the subatomic world didn't behave like the larger world. They began looking for electrons and measuring them, only to discover that they appeared everywhere they looked. However, when they stopped measuring them, the electrons seemed to disappear, returning to energy from particle form. This discovery was revolutionary because it suggested that the subjective mind had an impact on the objective world. The birth of quantum physics was underway, and it was clear that mind and matter were somehow connected. Quantum physics experiments showed that it was impossible to perform a quantum experiment without an observer present. A mind always had to be present to influence the outcome. This meant that you, as an individual, had the power to influence the nature of reality with your mind. This invisible field of spirit, information, and energy could be affected by the mind, demonstrating that mind and matter were correlated. However, Einstein struggled with this concept because he believed that God didn't play dice, and reality didn't work this way. But his brain was wired for light, and he was receiving the download of information, understanding the field of light. The quantum physicists, on the other hand, were discovering that there was a field of information beyond space and time, beyond light, where everything was unified. They found that two photons, which were somehow related in a specific atom, could be separated and sent to opposite ends of the universe. When one photon was affected, the other was also affected, and it happened instantaneously, faster than the speed of light. This connection was happening in a realm beyond physical reality, which meant that the photons were connected in a way that transcended time and space. The movie, What the Bleep, showcased these incredible findings and highlighted the fact that our minds have an impact on reality. In order to change our reality, we need to change our minds and the way we live our lives. The movie made a significant effort to demonstrate that our thoughts and beliefs have a direct impact on the world around us. This idea was revolutionary, and it challenged the traditional understanding of the universe's workings. The movie helped people understand that they have the power to change their lives and the world around them. The process of creation is something that we want people to become inspired by, to really give it a shot. We believe that everyone, regardless of their gender, race, skin color, intellectual ability, past, or age, is a divine creator on some level. The models of reality that have separated individuals have all been built on human beings living in a very limited state of mind. When quantum physics was born and the concept of reality began to unfold, people started to challenge the nature of reality. The idea that you are somehow connected because you are made of photons, atoms, and electrons is a fundamental concept in quantum physics. On some level, we are all an organization, a community of 70 trillion to 120 trillion cells, and all of those cells are made up of atoms, molecules, and chemicals. All of these elements work together in a coherent form to express yourself as a physical body. Most people don't know that they're moving in and out of the quantum field 7.8 times per second. You're vibrating in and out of the field all the time, and every time you leave, you disappear. When you come back, you disappear into that field of information and you come back with information. But if you go out as the same person, you don't bring any new information back. The key is to begin to observe a vision that represents a future and to hold steadfast to that vision. You need to see that vision clearly in your mind. And every day you need to understand that where you place your attention is where you place your energy. By doing so, you would be investing your energy into the future. The image that you see could literally be the template for trillions and trillions of atoms to organize into patterns of information called an event in your life. However, it's not enough to just have a clear intention because clear intentions have very little effect on the nature of reality. The driving force that couples the co-maiden, the handmaiden to all of that is an elevated emotion. When you combine that clear intention with an elevated emotion, it is the elevated emotion that begins to amplify the field around your body. In that moment, you become more energy and less matter. If you understand that the emotion is the handmaiden to the creative process, you would have to feel whole before your healing. That would mean that you would have to feel abundance before your wealth. That means you would have to feel all before the mystical moment. That means you'd have to feel love before your new relationship. That means you'd have to feel empowered before your success. When we do this properly, we're no longer functioning as materialists. We are literally functioning as quantum minds. Only when you're truly conscious and aware are you beginning to affect the nature of reality. Taking small moments in your busy life to understand that when your consciousness merges with a greater consciousness, when you're connected to Source, you will emulate the divine. And how would the divine live if it was you? According to research, 90% of our thoughts are the same thoughts as the day before. This means that if we think the same thoughts every day, our lives will stay the same because our thoughts lead to our choices, which lead to our behaviors, experiences, emotions, and ultimately our reality. But what if you want to change your reality? To create a new life, you have to change your personality. Your personality is made up of how you think, act, and feel, and it shapes your personal reality. This may sound daunting, but it's not impossible. You can start by becoming aware of your unconscious habits, behaviors, and even how you speak. Then you have to look at the emotions you experience every day and decide if they belong in your future. It's important to note that many people try to create a new life as the same person, but this won't work. In order to change your reality, you have to change your personality. Influence the body so that the thought actually produces some type of change. If you think an unhappy thought, you'll feel unhappy. If you think you're a failure, you'll feel like a failure. And this creates a cycle of thinking and feeling that reinforces your programming. To break free from this cycle, we need to start by changing our thoughts. This can be done through positive affirmations, visualization, and meditation. Instead of thinking negative thoughts, focus on positive ones. Visualize the life you want to have and how it would feel to live that life. This will help rewire your brain and create new neural pathways that will eventually become your new programming. It's also important to pay attention to your emotions. When you feel negative emotions, try to identify the thoughts that triggered them. Then challenge those thoughts and replace them with positive ones. This will help you break free from negative programming and create a new reality. Change can be a challenging and uncomfortable experience for many people, especially when they are used to familiar routines and habits. The brain and body tend to get conditioned into the past, making it difficult to move forward and embrace new experiences. However, change is necessary for growth and progress in life, and it requires individuals to step out of their comfort zone and into the unknown. When people decide to make a change in their lives, whether it be eating a healthier diet, exercising regularly, or practicing meditation, it can be challenging to break free from their past habits and ways of thinking. The decision to change means that individuals must leave behind the familiar territory that they are used to and venture into unknown territory, which can be uncomfortable and uncertain. Many people find it difficult to leave their known biology and step into the unknown, as their bodies are conditioned to feel comfortable in familiar surroundings. This conditioning can make it challenging for people to make lasting changes in their lives, as the body often influences the mind, leading people to talk themselves out of making the necessary changes. For example, if someone decides to start a new diet, their mind may start to think of all the reasons why it's not a good idea, such as feeling too tired or having a headache. These thoughts can lead to the same choices, behaviors, experiences, and feelings that individuals are used to, leading them back to their comfort zone. However, if individuals understand that change requires them to step out of their comfort zone and into the unknown, they can start to make changes that will benefit them in the long run. The key to making lasting changes is to focus on the thoughts and behaviors that will lead to positive outcomes. When individuals close their eyes and visualize who they want to be, they are installing neurological hardware in their brains that will help them look and feel like they have already achieved their goals. By rehearsing these thoughts and behaviors, the brain becomes a map to the future rather than a record of the past. If individuals keep practicing these thoughts and behaviors, the neurological hardware begins to become a software program, which leads to behavioral changes. Once individuals start to behave differently, they can start to teach their bodies emotionally what the future will feel like. For instance, if someone wants to feel more abundant, they can start by feeling abundant right now. The moment they start feeling abundant, they will start generating wealth. Similarly, if someone wants to feel empowered, they can start by embracing empowerment right now.